This week's Parsha Tisa once again mentions the Shabbat, this time adding a layer to its significance. Without a doubt, in a week that is defined to be 7 days, anyone can work for 6 days and rest on one. God, though, says that the Shabbat is more than just a day of rest. He says that the Shabbat is an oath, a sign between himself and Israel. Not only is the Shabbat a sign between God and Israel, but God declares this oath to be an everlasting sign between himself and Israel. The first question to ask is, what is an oath? While we translate it as sign, an oath is more than just a sign. It is something concrete that one can point to and say that without a doubt, there is something special that is occurring here. This is even hinted at by the letters of the word. The word oath starts with an aleph and ends with a taf. This is the first and last letters of the alphabet. In between these two letters is a letter vav. Many times when a vav is a vowel, as it is in our word oath, the vav functions to connect its two surrounding letters together. So we can say that the letters themselves tell us, by its placement to each other, that two very different entities, an aleph and a taf, are clearly associated with each other, with this association is symbolized by the letter vav. An oath, then, must clearly show that there is a connection or bond between two distinct entities. In what way, then, is Shabbat an oath? A sign that shows that special connection between God and Israel. Rashbam says that even if the nations don't believe in him, the nations are still aware that the God of Israel rested on the seventh day. Accordingly, when these people see Jews resting on the seventh day and keeping the Shabbat, they know it is specifically because of Israel's relationship with God that they are keeping the Shabbat. As such, seeing Jews keep the Shabbat exhibits the bond between God and Israel. It publicly proclaims Israel to be God's people. What does it mean that the oath is an everlasting sign? The Midrash says that the Shabbat will never be canceled. If it can't be canceled, then that means de facto it will be everlasting. But how can we be sure that Shabbat will never be canceled? Malbim says that the oath is a promise that this bond will last forever and will never be transferred to another nation. Ibn Ezra says that it has nothing to do with a promise. He says that we see from the Torah that the day of the Shabbat was literally built into the universe. It is the seventh day. Since the Shabbat is an integral part of the universe, it is impossible to cancel it, and therefore must be everlasting. Since the Shabbat is everlasting, that is a sign that the relationship between God and Israel is everlasting. Shabbat, being an oath, shows the commitment of Israel to God and the commitment of God to Israel. The saying goes that as much as Israel kept the Shabbat kept Israel. That is the oath in practice, and something concrete that we can point to demonstrate the special bond between God and Israel. Shabbat Shalom.